Hello, I'm Dee, and welcome to the 50 Shades of Red podcast, where we bring you the journey. And I'm the host, and I would like to introduce to my left.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Brittany.
And I'm Quintana.
And these fabulous ladies are the co-hosts to the journey. So welcome. So guys, we are going to talk about stress and anxiety. Boring. Da-da.
But we all go through it.
We all do go through it, and the journey, especially everybody, I mean, at some point in time, will deal with stress and anxiety. And just think about coming out of the pandemic. A lot of people are finding that they are stressed and anxiety ridden and need some help. So I think it is a really good topic. And I just want to thank our podcast director for joining us. So we are going to do this. So when we talk about stress, Brittany, what's something that just, I don't know that you ever get stressed. I can't imagine that. But anyway, if you were to ever deal with stress, what may be something that would cause that for you?
I think a lot of times the stress can be unconscious things. The first thing that came to my mind when you talk about like stress and anxiety, I thought back to like different times during COVID. Where everybody was on lockdown, and then when we had all of like the different racial things going on in the country, and before that I used to always walk, and I love to walk. We have beautiful trails in the city, and I would always walk. Well, once I started actually trying to go out during that time and walk on my own, I was I found myself like very in my subconscious. I was like looking over my shoulder and watching my back, whereas in the past I never would do that. And it wasn't that I necessarily had a direct interaction with anyone who treated me wrong, but because of just the global things that were going on racially, and then COVID mixed in top of that, with just people getting sick and dying and just all the things mixed together. I had this, and I really had to check myself. I was like, okay, why am I... you would see people wouldn't want to look you in your eye and
feeling a little anxious.
I mean, you could just see it on people, and so I think a lot of times it is absolutely in the subconscious. And,
absolutely.
And so it was good that during that time I had a really good coworker friend who works with another agency, and she is Caucasian, and so we would walk together, and we would talk about those things, and just the uncomfortable. And so that's when I really realized a lot of it was just subconscious, because I think too, because I was taking in what was happening on the outside. And so then I was allowing that to affect me on the inside.
Heather, what about you?
So for me, a lot of like my stress and anxiety is medical. It's medically induced, but it's also like circumstantial too. So, but as a lot of you know, like I have a special needs child, so I deal with a lot of stress in that. So just trying to maintain all of his needs and trying to take care of my own mental health issues. That brings on a lot of stress for me. And then of course, trying to maintain a home, and now that I'm married, that brings on added pressures and things of that nature. So a lot of times I do become anxious because, I think a lot of it's like, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? So it's just mentally, I'm just always in my head, and then it's like at work, you have the pressures of work, and trying to do your best there, and So I struggle a lot, every day, just trying to maintain and do my normal routines and, just try to stay composed and, remembering my coping skills and trying to help my child remember his and appointments. It's just a lot every day just to maintain. So stress and anxiety is a huge thing that I deal with in my life. And so, it's a huge struggle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think with you, I internalize things, and I don't know that I'm stressed until I'm overboard, so to speak. I think I'm handling it well until it gets over the top,
And then it's not cute.
and then that's not cute at all. So I think, okay, I'm handling things well. I'm moving, I'm going through it, until it gets to be spill over. That cork pops, and there we are, which is not good either.
And I think mine has been related to being an only child. So as an only child, of course I had to learn how to process things and handle things, and couldn't always talk to my mom maybe when I needed her.
Right.
And so just learning how, through the years, building up those habits of how to cope and how to deal with things. And so through adulthood, I've been learning how to unlearn, learning how to unlearn a lot of those habits that weren't good, and not receiving everything that comes through my head. I think that's been one of the biggest things that has helped me, is to not receive everything that's trying to come through my head.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Quintana, you're like me, you're the eldest sibling. So with that, what do you think about when you think of stress for you?
So stress for me, it comes in many different forms. Like you said, it's family. Being the oldest sibling, and at times even, just family come to me with a lot of problems, issues that they like to talk about. And that sometimes I internalize that causes undue stress. Also, I think it's with my job. My job is very stressful. In the 19 years that I've been there, it's always been stressful. No matter what position I've been in, it's always been stressful. So much to the point that I developed high blood pressure from working that stressful job. Also, I think it's just things with life, being single, trying to maintain a home by yourself. And of course, as you know, things happen when you're a homeowner.
Yes.
That are just out of your hands, and having the stress to deal with that. And then on top of that, trying to figure out who to get to do this and how it's going to get done. Then you got the finances that start to creep in, because you're like, oh my gosh, I can't take care of this financially because I've got all this other stuff. So that's just that's part of my stress. And as I mentioned, stress can cause, when you internalize it, like you were talking about, it can affect your health.
Yes.
And so over the years, like Brittany said, with adulthood, I've started to develop coping mechanism, things that help me deal with my stress or cope with my stress. And I think it's very important that we have those things, have those outlets to help us undo what stress has caused.
Okay. We're going to talk about some of those coping mechanisms in just a bit, but I'm going to quote Eckhart Tolle. He says, stress is the desire for things to be different in this present moment. A desire for things to be different in this present moment. And so stress comes from our response to the current events and circumstances, or our resistance to those current events and circumstances. What do y'all think?
I could see that happening, because in our minds we see those circumstances or things as a threat to us, and as a result of that, that becomes stress. But then that stress can also, in turn, become anxiety if it worsens. So I can see that when I'm feeling like pressure from my job, then my reaction to that is I might get frustrated with somebody. If somebody comes with me with a question, I'm like already stressed out about my workload and what I got, then I can internalize that, and then the corks pop like Dee said, and here it goes. So
Yeah, I think about that like resistance, in which you can see resistance in a negative, but I think you can also see it in a positive.
Right.
And so I feel like that's definitely helped me through the years. When you think about what is it, like a resistance band, if you're working out,
Yeah.
you know, the more that you exercise with it, the more you build up. So what may be hard to someone just starting out is easier for someone who's been doing it. So I think, you know, when I think of that in the term of like stress, I think about how when I was younger and maybe I didn't have a lot of money or as much money as I wanted to, you know, I would find myself shaking and, you know, and I'm all stressed that I can't think and I can't eat, and oh my gosh, and I'm up at night. And now, like looking at my life, of course, like we always have more than enough, but at times when, you know, we might be down, we know something else is coming, but we're down to a small amount, like I don't stress about it.
right.
I'm not shaking and quaking like I would have 15, 20 years ago, because I'm just like, okay, money doesn't rule my life.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I am who I am, and this doesn't shape or move or define me, and I know I'm going to have everything I need. You know, or I know what my provisions are, and so so I see where that has built up a resistance in my mind, you know, but also in my life. I've been able to build up a resistance to not shaking and quaking
Right.
with things that may have moved me in the past. Yeah.
Stress can also come from living in the past and remembering what happened, what was, and you're in the present, but your mind is reminding
In the
you
past.
of what happened in the past. Or fast forward, you're in the present and you're worried about
future.
tomorrow, the future. And so stress can come from either one of those directions as well.
And it's what you said, Dee. It's all about your mind and your mindset and how you view stress. You can view it as a positive thing, or you can view it as a negative thing. And if you view it as a negative thing, then it can take care. You know, then it can actually take you down a negative path, where it can affect you negatively.
Right. So if you take the present and you use all your time and your energy and all of that worried about tomorrow, when tomorrow's not even here yet, you're missing out on today, stressing about tomorrow.
And then how many times have we imagined in our minds everything that's going to happen tomorrow, and then it never happens?
And it never happens.
And
So
we have
you've
made up this
lost.
horror story in our minds, and then you get
Yes.
to tomorrow and it's nothing like it, and all of our energy was spent.
Right. Yes,
Now you're tired.
absolutely. Now you're
fear.
tired.
Yeah, now you're tired.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't even function
That false
in
evidence.
you know, you can't even function in the current because
Right.
all that energy was used up even thinking about it.
Right.
So today might be a blessing, but you can't even necessarily
Right.
function in it, and now it's almost like wasted because that energy was spent worried about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Something that
going
didn't
back to
manifest.
something you said in one of the other podcasts about generational things, if we worry about things that have happened in the past to family members, friends, or whatever, and we take that on, and so now all of a sudden, you know, we've got a situation and our mind immediately goes back to the past of when so-and-so went through that. And yeah, I remember when so-and-so had that bunion on their foot and had to get it cut off. And I remember what happened. They lost their whole foot. Well, here we go. You got a little spot on your baby toe. And you reflecting back on when somebody had the bunion and had to get the foot cut off.
And then you just put water on it and bring it off.
Right. Your situation may not be like that other individuals.
You thought it was something.
You done magnified
The
it.
whole thing is wiped out.
Right.
Absolutely. So you're stressed out about nothing. You know?
Now you done went to 2 doctor's appointments, and all you had to do was wash your
Right,
feet.
wash your feet.
Got $1,000 bill. All you had to do was use water.
Oh, that's good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in that,
Right.
you know, but we do that. We
Yeah.
think about what
We do.
happened to great Aunt Bessie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like, oh Lord, you know, but no, we can't do
But
that.
you know, doctors do that to you too. Because when you go to the doctor, they want all your family history.
Yeah.
So then you got to go back down that path of, well, Aunt Betty had this and I didn't, and now I got this and it.
That ties into that generation.
That's
Even
right.
too, it's like we don't know that Aunt Bessie ate, pig feet every day.
Right, right.
We not eating pig feet.
Exactly.
While watching Andy Griffith or something.
That's
I mean,
right.
You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't. The lifestyle
Yeah, we
is
don't
different. You know, we just don't know.
Yeah.
But what we do know is something happened,
That's
and
right.
now we see similarities, and we're like, oh, our mind wants to go tracing down memory lane. You know, and we're stressed out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so we've got to stay in the moment. We've got to stay in the present.
Yes.
And that's not
deal
fake.
with that.
That's not fake.
It's not fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that ties into what I was saying in the other podcast about the self-inflicted things that we do to ourselves, and that causes us not to be whole.
Yeah. Right.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
even heard something recently, I can't remember exactly how it was saying, but it was like, when we're doing those things to ourselves, it's almost like we're self-mutilating. You can't even
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
You can't even see it, but it's like, okay, it's almost
Yeah.
like you're cutting yourself.
Mhm.
Because it's a constant tearing down, it's a constant fear, it's a constant, and you're not getting it out, you're not stopping it, you're just
Right.
allowing it to continue to happen.
Look at all
Now
those
you're anxious.
neurotransmitters you sending out in your body. Got this. You sending that negativity here, sending it there, and it's just crazy.
And it's
Yeah.
going all
And it's
over
going
your
on
body.
Your whole body.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it's showing up on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you've got anxieties that start to build up. What if scenarios, you start playing what if scenarios in your mind, or what if this and what
Yeah.
if that. And, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and that's going to fix it. You
You
know?
ain't even got a problem yet.
And you ain't got no problem. You- oh my goodness.
You putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that, you don't even need a horse.
You know what I mean?
Right. You might not even eat a horse.
Oh my goodness, that is true. So we have to think about the moment, okay? The moment that we're in. That's all we got. You know, the past is gone. The future hadn't even happened yet.
Right.
We got now, right here and
Yes.
now, and we have to stop and think about, okay, where's my feet right now? My feet are right here, and you have to stop and get centered. This is where I'm at, right here. Okay, what's going on around me may not be favorable to me.
Right.
I may not like what's going on
Yeah.
around me, but guess what? I can't control it. Okay, I can't do anything about it. I'm going to be in the moment, and I'm present, and I'm
Yeah.
here, and I'm not going to allow crazy to affect me.
But I think too, like that's the power of keeping our demeanor and keeping our composure and staying in faith, even in the midst of what seems like chaos all around us. Because I've seen so many times, and I'm sure you all have too, like times where I've kept my composure in situations that were crazy all around me, and
Yes.
everybody else was flipping out, and I was cool, calm, collected. And then how people were able to look at that and say, okay, hey, I'm going to elevate you. I'm going to promote you. I'm going to choose you for this job or this opportunity because I saw how you responded and handled that situation. And so I think as well, keeping in mind when we have those moments of fear that want to crop up or anxiety that wants to crop up is that it might be a prime opportunity. For somebody that's looking at you or waiting to, or that's going to hear from you. And if we're operating in fear and if we're operating in anxiety, then that might be the opportunity we miss out to really be operating in a place of faith.
Life is happening for me, not to me. What do you think about that? Life is happening for me, not to me. That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Because if we stop and think about things,
Yeah.
we have the power to control what? The
Our
superior.
mind. We're neurotransmitters.
Yes.
I mean, we're neurosurgeons.
Neurosurgeons,
We have
and
the
our
ability
mind
to change
is
our mind.
neuroplasticity,
That's
where
right.
it can be molded and shaped. However we mold and shape it.
Yeah.
And I think of, I don't know the exact scripture, but where it's talking about, okay, all things are working for us.
Yes.
You know, for the good
Yes.
of those who
Yes.
love God and are called
Yeah.
according to His purpose. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's not happening to us.
Mhm.
It's
you know,
happening
for
for
us.
For
us.
us.
And here's the thing, whether things are good or bad that occurs in life, God has a way of making it work for the good. He loses nothing. He wastes
right.
nothing.
Yes.
He uses every single tiny, even that little spot on the toe,
Yeah.
you know. And he already know it's dirt,
Yeah.
but we gonna run around, like you said,
He gonna give you a moment to catch up.
talking about it, magnifying it, making it a whole lot bigger than it really is. Don't we do that though?
We do.
The more you talk about a situation, you magnify it. You make it a
You
whole lot
breathe
bigger.
life into that thing.
That's right. That's right. Our words
Yeah.
coming out,
Our mouth
giving
has
life to
power.
that negative thing. Yeah, and so we need to stop magnifying the problem, which only
for the
produces
solution in it.
more stress.
Right.
Look for the
Look
solution.
for the solution
Yes.
in it.
And sometimes we can't fix it.
Yeah.
I'll just
And that has
raise
to
my
be
hand
okay.
right now.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm a fixer. And you know, mom's gonna fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and so God has taught me I can't fix everything.
Yep.
Because then when I interfere with it,
Yeah.
it could be that God is trying to teach someone something. And then here I come traipsing along. I got
But
you,
that's-
I'm gonna fix it.
But that's like a mother, though. I think about my own mom, and she's busy always trying to help and fix things for other people. I'm like, Mama, you can't be God. Let God
Yeah,
do what He
amen.
need to
That's
do with
right.
that situation.
It's hard to watch sometimes,
Yeah.
you know. But we need to stop and realize who's who.
Yep.
Who am I
And who am I not?
and who am I not?
Good.
That's good.
Good,
Absolutely. That will reduce some of the stress and anxiety, if not all of it.
Yep.
Okay.
And know
if
your
what we
limitations.
focus on.
And know your limitations.
Know your limitations. Absolutely. Because sometimes in trying to fix something, we get our own selves in trouble.
Every time.
And that adds more stress.
Now we got more stress. Absolutely. And you know the thing with I'm really not a morning person, and so in knowing that,
Hold on, translate.
you know,
I know that look. I know what that look is. Because she's always cheerful in the morning.
Yeah.
And
me,
I'm
I
like
am
that,
not
but
a
I'm like that
morning
too.
person.
You are.
I'm cheerful
Yeah.
in the morning.
Hold on, she's like, good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. How
I'm
are
like,
you?
good morning.
but what time is it though? I mean, you know,
what time it is.
yeah, I don't see myself as a morning person, but I know that if I gotta be to work at a certain time and I lay in the bed a whole lot longer than I should, and then the next thing I know, I'm riding the back of somebody's bumper because I'm late.
She's she's trying to get to work.
But my actions brought that
Yeah,
less
yeah,
stress.
that's
you know?
right.
Because you wanted to lay in the bed.
I want to lay in the bed a little bit longer.
You just had to de-stress a little bit longer. That's all.
She sure don't show it. As soon as she get out the car, good morning. How are
But
you?
she know how to flip that switch.
She sure
I'm
does.
the same way.
Good morning.
Yeah, I need a minute.
Yeah, I know.
I need a minute.
I need a whole lot of minutes.
I need silence for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like I wake up and my husband will be up because he's got to take our daughter to school, and I'll say, "Hey, honey, how are you?" I'm like, "Ooh, what's wrong with you?" Yeah, I'm all right. I'm like, "Oh my, it don't sound like."
I said I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. But yeah, how we respond to situations and things honestly determines stress and anxiety. And we got to know, like you said, our limitations. We may not be able to just make it okay.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay
Yeah.
with that. And I know, people get tired of hearing, well, sister, I'm just going to pray for you. I know God's going to work
And
it
sometimes
out for
all you can do is pray.
Sometimes that's all you can
Yeah,
do.
sometimes that's
But
it.
then sometimes you have it within your means to make things okay. But then you still need to pray.
And sometimes
Right.
you just have to give somebody truth. You have to tell them the truth.
Yes.
Especially, I see that quite a bit.
Yes.
Sometimes in my line of work, yeah, we can do things to try to fix it or try to help someone, but okay, after time 5, sometimes
start
I just
helping
have
yourself.
an honest conversation and say, okay, hey, this is the 5th time you are in this position. What are we gonna do to help you? We're all about helping you, but let's help you so that you don't have to come back to this
Right.
position.
Right.
What are you gonna do next?
Right.
You know.
Right.
So.
What about people that stressed over finances? Oh, you stressed over finances? What about people that are actually, they work hard every day, they get their paycheck, and it just never seems to be enough, and so they're stressed over it, but yet they got the hair, they got the nails, they got the latest and greatest Gucci or whatever, but yet when you talk to
Don't say
them,
what I was gonna call it.
they
It's
what?
not Gucci.
What is it?
Gucci.
Coochie. Hoochie. What? She said hoochie. What did you say?
I said
The hoochie. You gotta talk that hoochie. You gotta say hoochie. This is what you say, Gucci.
And then she said something like that.
You sure did. We won't go in there.
Censorship. Censorship.
Coochie. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
back on track.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
People that are stressed over their finances, but yet they're not doing the right thing
Yeah.
with what, because
Yeah.
we have more than enough.
Absolutely.
We really do.
I would say I did we did.
We really do.
But I would say years ago I did a big look at that. And I literally went through all of my finances line by line. I cut the cable off.
Ooh.
My daughter came home, wanted to sit down in front of the TV. She was like, what?
Ooh.
What happened to the TV, Mom? Like right now we're working on things. And this is not a priority. That was $100-some bill cut out. I ended
I
up
hear
lowering
you.
my cell phone bill, paid off our phones, and I think our cell phone bill was like $40 a line.
I'm not getting me a jitterbug.
Yeah.
Cause
But like literally when you desire to be in a better place and in a better position, you'll do what's
Make
needed.
the sacrifices.
You'll find a way. Just like
Absolutely.
people who are struggling find a way to get their nails done and get their hair done.
Yeah, they
and
do.
like you'll find a way. And so that year was huge. I mean, but doing that, I saw it shifted and pivoted to where I probably went for probably at least 3 or 4 years without cable. They came out with the Roku. So I'm good.
Right.
We are working on way too much in our lives
Yes.
to be sitting
That's
down
good.
for hours upon hours in front of a TV
Right.
and paying this high bill.
Right.
And so literally I just cut out and I found that I had more than I needed.
Right. Absolutely.
It was just what I was spending
That's
my money
true.
on.
Because we don't have to have the latest and greatest everything.
Yeah.
Because the market knows that. They know if I change one little thing on that iPhone and call it something else, they're going to be trampling down the US Cellular or T-Mobile or whatever, trying to get the latest and greatest. And you don't have to have it. Do we really have to have it? Do we?
No.
The correct answer is no. Look, Heather, I'm right there with you because I think
That's a part of, I think, we want to be accepted. We want to be, and so sometimes it's okay, what does it really boil down to?
Right.
And so for me, I had to learn, what did it really boil down to? I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be presented a certain way or look
Right.
a certain way.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, does that really matter at the end of the day? Like, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
So doing that inner work on myself then got me to the point where it's like, okay, I don't care.
Right.
I still love high quality clothing and high
Yes.
quality bags, but I'm not gonna pay a high quality price.
Right. That's
I will
right.
find it 90% off,
Good.
and you better
Yeah,
believe I will because I
absolutely.
can't.
And it's the same.
And it's the exact,
It's the exact same thing.
And I'm not spending my money.
Right.
That's not. No, I'm not gonna spend. I'm gonna get what I want, but I'm gonna get it at a fraction of the price. Yeah.
So how can we help people lessen stress and anxiety? I would say live in the moment.
Live within your means.
That's good. Live within your means. That's good. Get a budget,
Financial plan.
a financial plan. Yeah. Accountability.
Have goals.
And
What do
be
you
open.
desire beyond where you
yes,
are
absolutely.
currently?
A
Because
vision
a lot of
board.
times, if you can't see beyond where you are right now, then you're gonna keep on doing the same thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Accountability partner. Yeah. And then don't get mad at them.
Yeah. To be like, girl, you in the restaurant
Oh,
again.
I mean, if you can remove some of the stressors, then do that.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
that's a big thing.
Absolutely.
Because it's no point in sitting there with the same thing, the same stress every day if
Yeah.
you don't have to.
Right. Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, if you can get rid of that high priced car that you can't afford, get rid of it, trade it in, get you something a little smaller with a lower payment.
Get you something else with no payment.
Right.
That too.
Absolutely.
You know, if
Yeah.
if your job is that stressful, unfortunately put you 2 weeks in and get you something a little less stressful. You might have to
Yeah,
take a
make
pay
some
cut,
changes.
Yeah.
but it is what it is. You know, like sometimes you just have to for your own inner peace. And that was something that I had to learn for myself because I had a job where it was just so stressful. I literally had an anxiety attack in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And there were several people doing the same. Like people, they would call the ambulance once or twice a week for people because
Wow.
people were just so stressed out. That job was so high stress, and I was like, "What is going on with people?" Because it hadn't happened to me at the time, and I'm like, "It's not that bad." And then one day it happened to me, and I was sitting in the bathroom on the phone with Mom. I couldn't speak. I mean, it was just so bad. And so I vowed to myself I would never ever work another job like that. I refuse to allow a job to stress me out like that. And so I ended up getting another job and I started seeing those flags where I'm like, you know what? I don't want a job hop, but I'm not going to let a job stress me like that. And I had to leave. And thankfully I had a job that I could go to, you know, where I could quit. But now I'm in a job where I actually really love what I do, you know, but it's like, I'm not gonna let a job stress me like that.
Right.
And so, you know, sometimes, again, you may have to take a pay cut, you may not, but sometimes you just have to evaluate
Yes.
your inner self, your
Right.
inner peace, what
Right.
matters to you. If it's a person, you may love them, but you gotta kick them to the curb. Like, if they're bringing you so much stress, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like that sometimes.
It too can be an indicator of where it needs to go.
Right.
You know, if you're having those things, then that's already a signal. Okay, something is off here.
Yeah.
Something's
Right.
not right. Something needs to change. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's similar with a previous job. I was commuting every day, and I did it for probably 4, almost 5 years, and making good money, had good benefits, you know, but the stress got to the point, and I said, okay, I started to have a different conversation with myself, and I'm like, okay, I want a better quality of life. And so it
That's the
started
word
being,
right there.
okay, it wasn't, I want to make so much, I wanted to have the quality of life.
Yes.
And down to the point to where I said, like, you want something, it can happen. It's just, and a lot of it too was, see, I know then, it was really seeking God, like, okay, hey, how do I change my, like, overhaul my entire life?
Right.
And so cutting the cable was just the start.
Right.
And by the end of it, I had sold my home, used the equity, came back in town, was able to take the summer off, spend it with my daughter, and found a better job in town,
All right.
making
That's good.
money with benefits, and was able to transition now into a job that I love, which I think takes you back to that inner conversation
Yeah.
of just, you have to evaluate,
You
okay,
do.
what is the priority? Something is off. If you're stressed, something is off.
Right. And burnout comes from working a job that you hate, but you work it because of the paycheck. You're going to get burnout because it's not fulfilling to you. It's robbing you.
Well, I can say I've worked a job that I love, and I've felt burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that was more so, I think, like I never knew this word before, but some of that was like compassion fatigue.
Right.
When you are dealing with someone's
That's
secondary
huge. Yes.
trauma,
Right.
Yes.
you know, you're experiencing someone's trauma every day, different, you know, just I think people don't realize how much other people's lives, you know, we impact each other.
Right. Sure.
Right.
So if you're going through a trauma, and you're going through a trauma, and you're going through a trauma, and you all are my friends, and then it's almost like I'm
Right.
experiencing it
Uh-huh.
indirectly.
Right.
Yes.
And then that can weigh on me. And so, yes, through the current work that I do, I've absolutely had to learn how to balance that
Mm-hmm.
and how to recognize those signs and take care of myself, because I love what I do. But I also have to know, okay, this is my limit.
Uh-huh.
I'm not available today.
That's
I
right.
can't answer the phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just
Right.
knowing when and how to handle those things.
Monitoring oneself
Mm-hmm.
and knowing what your limits are.
Brittany just said something very important when we're talking about stress. Taking care of yourself. Because when I think about stress, I think about those things that impact your health. You know, we don't know how much stress something that we could be dealing with is impacting our heart, putting that pressure.
Yeah.
So just, I think about things that you can do to eliminate some of that stress, exercising, eating better, because sometimes the food that you eat
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
can impact your health and cause, and you know, it helps relieve some of that stress, some of the foods that you eat, especially when they're on the more healthier side of things.
Yeah.
So I just think about that.
That's
Dealing
good. Make
with
better
stress.
choices that
Better
start to
choices.
impact our body in a positive way. If we know that certain like diabetes, hypertension, all that, we know that's in the bloodline. We don't have to have that.
Right.
We do not,
Yeah.
you know, because
The fourth piece of chicken.
yeah, right. We don't have
Or
to
the
have
third piece
that.
of cake.
Right.
So it's about our choices that we
Yeah.
make for ourselves. And making better choices, you know, like you said,
And that's
healthier
love.
choices.
Yeah.
That's love.
That's
Self-love.
Self-love.
Yes.
Loving
Self-love.
ourselves, which
Yes.
something I could probably verbalize and say that.
Yes.
What is that?
Loving
But like
ourselves.
learning,
Yes.
I grew up with that. Yes, of course, you know, you I think unconsciously knew, but like verbalizing and saying, okay, I love myself. It seems like foreign. It seems like, okay, what did I just say?
Yeah.
Well, some people might say, "Oh, well, that's very arrogant or prideful,"
No, it's
but it's not.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like
it's
yeah.
not.
It's in how.
In how you
That's
behave.
right.
They're saying it from a
You
place of,
can't
ooh, I
love
love
yourself.
myself.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, that is totally
Yeah.
different than a deep inner, okay, I love myself enough to make good choices.
Well,
Right.
how I handle myself
Yes.
shows how much I love myself too.
Right.
You know.
But also kind of going back to what you said about like compassion fatigue, like just in your own personal circle, you know, that can also bring stress
Yeah.
Yes.
and anxiety, because I myself personally had to kind of evaluate just who I was around, because I tend
Yeah.
to take on people that I care about. I tend to take on their issues, and so I become like an emotional dumpster. And so when people are venting to me or asking for advice, or because I'm a very good listener, so it's like, you know, if you're just pouring your heart out, I'm just taking it all in, and I'm very empathetic. So it's like I will try, if I could just take everybody's stress and their issues, and I'll just suck it all in, and I'll just take. I know it sounds like I'm trying to be God, but it's like I just want to take it all and just you be free and happy and healthy. Like that's just kind of how I feel. And so, and I have I guess it's discernment, where sometimes I can just feel when someone's off or something's wrong. And so I had to learn how to distance myself from that, because it was becoming too much.
Toxic.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't listen to your stress anymore. I can't hear your venting anymore, because it was giving me headaches. It was making me feel bad, and it was like I was starting to, I guess, not necessarily lash out to others, but it was just like, I just could not deal. And so, yeah, I guess it makes me a bad friend, quote unquote.
No, it doesn't.
But it's just like, I guess in their eyes, but it was just like, I just can't, you know? And so I think, you know, all of that to say, you know, you have to evaluate your circles because if everybody in your immediate circle is just nothing but negative and toxic and all they want to do is just pour their junk onto you, that's not healthy for you.
No, right.
And so, you know, that's something you have to look at too, because that's a stressor you can remove.
Right.
I
It
think
takes
it's
us
growth.
back to people,
Yeah.
places, and things.
Entanglements.
Yeah.
And
Gotta be
that's
careful what you
growth when
entangle
can
with.
recognize that.
Yeah.
When you talk about the weight, I think about how not long ago, I think it was just this year, the end of last year, there were periods where I just felt heavy, and then I would find myself kind of like even cold towards somebody's situation because it was a constant crisis, a constant need, constant. And so I'm like, okay, you know, then you just become kind of almost callous to it. And then God clearly spoke and was like, okay, like, I didn't tell you to carry that.
Ah,
You know,
yes.
so you're here, I'm in position to help people.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm in position to be a light, to be a
Yes.
witness,
Yes.
to help people cross over, to be a bridge, but not to take on their issues and carry it. Like, okay, no, I said, okay, take my yoke. My yoke is
Yes.
my burden
Yes.
is light.
Like,
And
yes.
so it was like I was taking on the weight and just holding. And he's
Right.
like, no,
Yeah.
so I've had to learn through the years, okay, how to take and then hand off.
Right.
Take and then hand off. Okay.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
and so a lot of that anxiety and stress, for sure, I feel like, okay,
Oh,
that can come when we're
yeah.
taking stuff on and kind of like, we're trying to take that place of God. No, we're not Him.
Right.
We
and
should
let
be a
that go.
conduit. It
Yes.
flows through.
Yeah,
It comes in and
a
flows
river.
out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like you think about a dam. A dam is holding all that pressure.
Man, you on them
Right.
words tonight, girl.
Is she serious? Nice little metaphors and
No,
stuff.
I
She
got
got
my
the
coffee.
that's the day. She giving us the visuals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
When you think about the
absolutely.
dam, like
Yeah.
those dams, there's so much pressure,
Yeah.
and then it could be like one little crack.
One little pinhole.
And it's
Yes.
And it's
it's
bad.
all down. So
Absolutely.
you know, I think like that conduit. We
Yeah.
gotta keep pass it on, pass it off.
Yeah.
So we have to know our limitations.
Right.
It's, ladies, I'm going to say a word, and forgive me if it's a dirty word, but I'm going to say it.
what you said.
I know what she gonna say. I know what she get ready to say. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead.
No, N-O. It's okay to say no.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Right.
And be okay with that inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We cannot be yes people to every single thing. We weren't designed to do that.
Yeah. Especially those we look up to.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
know
gotta
I
set
struggle with that
boundaries.
Yes,
through the years.
boundaries.
You gotta
Yes,
set boundaries.
Want those that you
absolutely.
love to be upset with you or to be
Right.
at odds with you.
Right.
But I've absolutely had to learn how to say no.
Right.
To
Yes.
those who I
Sure.
look up to and who,
Yeah.
you know, I love.
It's going to make you feel so much better.
Because I tell Dee all the time when I have when family comes to me with stuff, I said sometimes I just I gotta cut it. I
Yeah.
can't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I love my brothers and sisters, but they are the worst and want you to do stuff. I'm just saying. I love them dearly.
But I think
I
sometimes-
learned to say no.
Yeah, but I think sometimes too, I know for me, it's helped me to see where a person really is. You know, if I finally do say no, and then I see that they're still
Hold on to
going
it.
but no, they're still
No.
going in circles in their own life. Then I see, okay, hey, you know, I was just in the midst of your circle.
Or
Right.
I was
you're
just
close,
in the midst of your
and
your
you
chaos.
say no, I'm unable to do this at this time, and then they don't speak to you on Sunday. That's a problem for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it don't have to be my problem. I'm just gonna let you
No,
work.
it's a
I'm just gonna
problem
let you
for me because I'm like, hey, we just had coffee last week. but
But why are you taking that offense on?
Yeah.
because I want to fix it. I just told you I'm a
What's
fixer.
your name? Is it G-O-D?
No, right, G-O-D. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
why shun me? Why
Yeah.
treat me like that? Because I said I was unable to do something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I know I've had that similar, and so
Yeah.
I'll try to fix it. I'll not necessarily fix it, but I'll try to address it. Try to reason with that person.
But
try to get to the bottom.
I'm a
of it.
peacemaker.
But after a little while, if
Yeah.
you just then okay, I'm gonna have to let that go for my
Yeah.
own self. Like I'm gonna have if you get to a point to where you can't let it go, I'm gonna have to let it go.
That's right.
Well,
Because I
and
have to
that's
move on.
true,
Yeah.
and that's true. But I'm going to attempt to resolve it.
Yeah.
Let's go have coffee, or let's walk
We
around.
might not be able to do coffee
Whatever or
again.
whatever. We won't be. I rather like when you had a second cup. It's like, but yeah. So we have to learn to say no and be okay with it inside,
Yeah.
and that may not always work well with some people.
Right.
But no has been some of my greatest points of growth have happened when people said no to me.
But it don't feel good.
No,
does
it don't feel good in
No,
the
but-
immediate, but
Right.
I've absolutely seen myself like grow leaps and bounds when someone said no to me, and then that wasn't an option anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yes.
okay, then I'm learning how I've grown.
Okay.
You know.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah, rejection sucks.
It
You make it
does.
sound so good.
Well, I mean, it's
not
saying
rejection.
no. It's not
It's not
rejecting.
rejection.
Well,
No.
no, I mean, if we're saying it because for our boundaries, yes, but like in general, that's a whole nother topic. But I'm just saying,
I mean, you went there.
I did.
Yeah. Well,
That's part of the anxiety
I don't
and
think.
stress.
Yeah.
Right. Rejection.
Yeah, it is part of anxiety and stress, and we'll have to address rejection on another podcast because that is definitely a huge issue for people. But for going out on this particular podcast, what do you like to do to reduce stress and anxiety?
I like to just be still and be quiet. Don't have to have a whole lot of noise. Don't have to be saying a whole lot of anything.
Yeah.
Just sometimes having a moment where you're just still and you're quiet
Be still.
can actually bring so much clarity and bring things
Yes,
in.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Heather, what do you like to do to reduce stress and anxiety?
Breathe.
Just what
Just
I feel.
breathe, exhale. That's
and
good.
I sing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, breathe, deep breath in and blow it out. Exhale. Believe it or not, I like to write, and I'm beginning to write more now. As you can, so I enjoy writing, just pouring out, expressing. Journaling is really healthy. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good time. What about you?
Oh, I do a bunch of things.
Well, just give us two because we down to the limit here.
I sing like Heather does. I read. I just find whatever makes me relax at that moment. Listen to music. As y'all know, I like my K-pop.
I was gonna say your K-pop people, your peeps.
So, I mean, and then I listen to gospel music as well.
Yeah.
It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in what I want to do to relax.
Yeah. But it's good to exercise. You had said that. Exercise, eat healthy, make wise choices and decisions. It's okay to say no. The world's not coming to an end. But I think it's how you say it.
Right?
It's how you say it in love.
Talking to others, getting it out.
Talking to others.
And I mean, when I say talking to others, I mean somebody that you know is going to listen and give you good sound advice, not somebody
Yes.
that's going to go run and tell it.
Right.
So,
And
Yeah.
reading the word for solutions.
And
yes, reading the word. Yes,
absolutely.
yes, definitely.
Reading the word for solutions. That's
Yes.
top. That's top.
Every answer you
It's
need in
just
life
there.
is right there.
Absolutely.
in their
And
word.
you sitting here doing all this stuff.
I know, right? Right there in the word.
Right there in the word. Ask Solomon.
Right.
Man. Yeah, the wisest man in the world. Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies, I thank you so much for joining us for this podcast on anxiety and stress. And I hope that we were able to alleviate some of your anxiety and stress through laughter. Laughter is good medicine. So until the next time, you come on back and join us for the journey.